Hey guys, morning. Let me go and set up the room real quick and then we can get started. It is 6:20, so the market is opening in about 10 minutes. Let's get everything all set up right here. This looks good. This looks good. Solid. Update this real quick. All right, today's Thursday, December 9th. Almost done with the trading week. It's been a great trading week so far, so hopefully you guys have been doing pretty well. Along with everyone else in the group. So let's get this loaded up right here. This is good. All right, cool. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right. There we go. Looks like we're good to go. So I'll let people make their way into the room real quick. Once everyone makes their way in, we can get started with our analysis of US 30. So give it a few minutes here. All right, cool. Looks like we're ready to go, guys. So today is Thursday, Thursday, December 9th. We're almost done with the trading week. It's 6:22 right now. Market is going to open in about 8 minutes. So good morning, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a great trading week so far. This week's been kind of back and forth. Yesterday was really slow. Monday was okay. Tuesday was all right. Hopefully today's a bit better. Looks like the market was a bit volatile from Asia session till now. But we'll see what happens when the market does continue on with the rest of the day. We did have unemployment news come out here at 5:30. It looks like unemployment news was good, and then it pushed price right back up to the upside right here after this big drop. You can see right here on CNBC, it says that weekly jobless claims fall to 184,000, which is the lowest level in more than 52 years. So it looks like a lot of people are employed right now. I mean, it makes sense. We're getting close to the holidays, but looking pre-market, all of the indexes are currently in the red. So the Dow is down 109 points, S&P is down 13 points, NASDAQ is down 56 points, oil is down about 1 point, and the 10-year bond is down 1.5%. So everything's pretty much red right now. That might be shifting to the upside when the market actually opens in the next 6 minutes. Since the news here was good, we can anticipate that people are probably having some pending buy orders in the market right now, and they're waiting for it to open for all of those orders to be filled. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes or so. That doesn't necessarily mean it's not guaranteed to happen, but the news was good for unemployment. So with that said, you can kind of use that to your advantage to determine where price is likely to go on market open, because the market is not officially open yet. The futures market is open, but not necessarily the stock market. So with that said, price will probably swing right back up on market open. Currently right now, it is at 113 points in the red, but we'll see what happens when the market actually does open shortly. See retail sentiment currently 56% short. So retail sentiment is pretty much indecisive at this point. It's neutral in the 50s range. So this isn't going to be much use to us today. Looks like we'll be looking at fundamentals and the technicals. Looking over here at the technical side, you can see here on the 1 minute that it's currently it was bullish, but then it came back down to the pivots. But overall, it is bullish because the trend meter is green, and previously, before it swung down slightly right here, it was above the pivots. So here on the 1 minute, it is bullish. Looking over here at the 3 minute, it was bullish as well, but it turned bearish just off this previous candle. lastly, going over to the 10-minute over here, it's currently bearish. So looking across the board of these short-term time frames, it's a bit indecisive, right? The reason for that is because price isn't necessarily above the pivots on all or below on all. Also, the trend meter doesn't match across the board either. So going over to the higher time frame, the 1 hour, this is indecisive as well, because you can see prices in between the pivots and the trend meter is actually blue, indicating that there is no clear direction with regard to US 30 right now. So we'll see what happens when the market opens in the next 4 minutes. However, I do anticipate that it's going to be bullish, and mostly based off the news this morning. But we'll see what happens then. So good morning, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a great week so far and a great morning today. Market is opening in about 4 minutes. When the market does open, we'll be ready to look for a possible breakout. Otherwise, just look for other entries, because I'm only looking for like really good entries. I'm not necessarily looking for anything too risky today. So yeah, other than that, guys, let's see who's here. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Matt. Morning, Peter. Morning, Christopher. Morning, B. Morning, Miles. Morning, Dave. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Essa. Morning, Professor. Morning, everyone. See, B's question said on copier is lot multiplier set to 1. I mean, depends on your broker. B, I'm not sure what broker you're using. If you're using the same broker for your copier and your main account, then yeah, it'd be set to 1 if you just want the same exact trades to be copied. If you're using a different broker, you'd have to set it to that specific broker's measurements. So like, for example, MFF is 10 times the lot size of FTMO because they use micro lots. So if you're using MFF, you'd have to use a 10 times multiplier because it's a 10 times difference compared to FTMO. Also, if your main account is something like Hugo's Way, which uses a standard lot size broker, their FTMO is 10 times their lot size because they use many lots. So if you're using like something like Hugo's Way or whatever broker uses standard lots and you're using FTMO as your copier, then you would have to set that to 10 as well. So, I mean, depends on your broker, B. I'm not sure which brokers you're using. I'm not sure what the measurements are. So you have to figure that out on your own, or unless you can give you the details, I can tell you, but that's the basic breakdown. I would recommend using the higher broker as your main. And then for the copier, I would use the lower broker. So if you have a broker that uses a standard size broker, I would use that as your main one. And then for any copiers, because you can change the multiplier. So you'd rather go from the highest one to the lowest one, so that it's easier to just change the information from there. But other than that, yeah, if you have any details on that, I can probably tell you. But if you're using like two FTMOs or two, okay, gotcha. So you said all you're using is FTMO, so that, yeah, it would be 1 times 1 because they're all the same thing. So yeah, you're right. You should just use a 1 on the multiplier. It just gets confusing when you're using different brokers because they all measure it differently. So the market is opening in about 40 seconds, guys. When the market opens, we can determine what direction to be trading. Right here looks like we got a pending buy signal, which aligns with what we were anticipating for the move. So we'll see what happens right here when the market does actually open. So market is opening in about 20 seconds. Refresh this real quick. Everything's still pretty red right now, but we'll see what happens when it actually opens in 10 seconds. So the market is now going to open in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The market is now open. So looking at this right here, price is currently coming down, which is fine. One reason that you want to be really careful if you take a breakout here is that it's getting close to the London low and the New York low. So even if you get a sell signal here and a price drops below here, or you already have a sell signal, but if you get a sell confirmation here and price drops below, you want to be careful because price can easily bounce off any of these points right here, right? You also want to be careful if you're taking a buy, because vice versa, the Asia low is right here. So it can easily bounce off this as well. So looking at this candle right here, this candle is quite big and it has a big wick right there. So even if this does close, this would technically be the breakout, the sell, but it's not one that I would recommend. It has to close strong. If it does, this would technically be the breakout right here. It has quite a bit, yeah, too big of a wick right there. So no entry off this breakout. You can see that it's bouncing off exactly how we anticipated, right? Because we anticipated price to possibly come down to this area and then bounce off this either New York low or this London low. Price broke below the London low, and now it came down to the New York low. Now it's bouncing off this point here. So yeah, I wouldn't take a trade here. This would technically, if this closes below here, then yeah, this could be the breakout, but it would have to close as a strong red candle, and it can't be too huge. Like this is kind of a big candle right here as well. But you can see right here, if you took that breakout right there, you'd be in profit. Vice versa, if you're taking this breakout right here, I mean, because there's the problem with the breakout, guys, is that it's objective, right? When I see a candle that looks like it's a big wick, this looks like a big wick to me, but not to everyone else. Again, right here, same situation, right? This for sure would probably look like a big wick to majority of people because it's way bigger than the body of the candle. This body of the candle right here is a lot bigger than this wick. However, it's still a big wick. So I wouldn't have taken it. Also, it's bouncing off the New York low over here. So for me personally, I wouldn't see any breakout entry available here yet. There's just too many indications that it's not a good entry. For one, it's bouncing off the New York low. For two, it's too big of a wick. This candle right here is also way too big of a wick compared to this body right here. So if this one here closes with little to no wick and it's not like a very big candle, which it isn't, this is very small compared to the other ones, then this would technically be the breakout here. But for me personally, I haven't identified a breakout at all yet. Going over here and refreshing this, let's see. Looking at the Dow, it's currently down 158 points. S&P is down 14 points. NASDAQ's down 44 points. Russell 2K is up 17 points, and the VIX is up about half of a point. So looking at this right here, no entry off any of these for the breakout. Doesn't look like we're going to have a breakout today. Unless this red candle right here closes as a strong red candle with little to no wick on the bottom side, which can still close out. See if it closes out right there. No. So there's still too big of a wick right there, or technically it could close right here. No, still too big of a wick. Yeah, definitely no entry off that. You can see how big the wick is right here. So no entry off the breakout. Off of that candle right there. This would probably be the last candle, or the next two candles would be the last ones to see if there'd be any possible entry for the breakout. So basically what you're looking for is a strong red candle, something like this candle right here. You can see it's not a huge candle, but it has little to no wick on the bottom. Like this one has actually no wick. So you can see right there, that'd be a nice drop to the bottom. But we haven't had that here. All these candles here off open. This is 6:30 when the market opened. This had a big wick. This had a big wick. All these have big wicks right here. So none of them fit the criteria for an entry applying the breakout. Hey, Rosh, morning. All right, so it doesn't look like we're gonna have a breakout here. It is now 6:35, so I'm gonna just close all that stuff out. We're gonna be looking for different entries now, or normal entries, I guess, not different entries. All right, so check this real quick. All right, cool. Yeah, Eunice said 10-minute rejects off the session low. Yeah, I agree. I noticed that too over here. Yep. So as you can see right here, the 10-minute rejected off the session lows right here. It's the same session lows that we looked at here on the 1 minute. So that's why I don't really need to look at the 10-minute as well. But it lines up with the 1 minute over here. You can see how it rejected off the lows over here, specifically the New York low. Same with the 3-minute over here. So you can see that it's a strong rejection off pretty much all of these candles right here. But yeah, let me just put up the requirements here for all the strategies, and then we'll be looking for entries here. So if you guys remembered, I'm looking for an entry that lines up with all three of these strategies, not necessarily looking for just one. I'm looking for one that fits all three, because if it fits all three, it's like a triple confluence and it lines up, providing for almost a guaranteed win. It's not a guaranteed win because nothing here is guaranteed, but it is as close as it gets to a guaranteed win. So there's the daily right there. Let's scalp. All right. 10-minute, we're looking for any possible snipe entries. Let's see if we get we have any zones around this area. There's a ton of zones around this area right here. So let me see this. All right. All right, zones are all drawn up right here. All right, solid. So there's a snipe strategy right there. You can see that it's a bunch of zones. The price just keeps bouncing around this area right here. So we'll have to follow and see where it moves from there. Going over to the daily over here, you can see the daily from yesterday hit full TP right there. So whoever caught it, big congrats to you. I didn't catch that move, but some of you guys in the group did catch it. The daily's been hitting pretty much every day this week as well. All right, so there's a daily strategy right there. Other than that, let's go back to the 1 minute over here. I'm going to go ahead and draw the current high lows right now. So let's see, market opened right here. Here's the high, and here is the low. All right, so you guys can see where price is currently ranging at this moment. It's currently ranging within these 2 points right here. I'd probably wait for it to break out and away from these previous session high lows, either below it or above it. Doesn't matter which direction. I just don't like trading within these areas because you can see that price rejects off these areas almost every time. So I'll go over here to the clean chart. This is one that has nothing on it. I'll just take everything off. And I'll mark up the times that we necessarily look out for. So 6:30, 8 o'clock is usually where I get off. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and noon right here. So I'll go ahead and draw high and low. And price is pretty much bouncing around the area where market opened. So market opened right here. Actually, I'll just draw a dotted line right there. Market actually opened right over here, just so that you guys can have an idea where opening price was. So There we go. As price continues to make its way around. So looks solid. All right, so there's no entries available here. You can see that the range is getting tighter, which is fine. That's normal for us. As the range does get tighter, I'll draw other zones here as price continues to move up and down this area. Here, let me check the chat. So Jennifer is asking if a valid signal were to trigger on the 10-minute chart on New York Stock Exchange open candle, would that be a daily entry or only candles after that? So only candles after that, Jennifer. If you go back to the requirements over here, I think I put there. Yeah, look for entries after open. So nothing on 6:30. You're looking for the one after it, and that's pretty much what would classify your entry off the daily for the 10-minute. I've seen people take it on open, and it does work sometimes. But from my testing, it doesn't look like it works more than it should. So I personally don't use it, but I've seen other people who do use it. So, I mean, like I always remind you guys, it just depends on your risk appetite. If you guys feel the need to take it, it just doesn't fit the requirements though. So if you go back, you can go back and back test it. If you want to go back and check it, you guys can. And this is probably one of the easier strategies to back test because it's only once a day. So you can literally go back. And one thing that you guys can do if you guys want to figure out if there was news that day or if it was a day that you probably shouldn't have traded, you can just always go back and watch the previous live session for that day because we analyze, US 30 every morning. So you can see whether it was a day that, should have been sat out, like if it was NFP or something like that, or a Friday in general, because we don't apply this strategy on Fridays. Other than that, let me go back to the 1 minute. You can see prices coming back down. Let's check out the fundamentals real quick, refresh this. All of the indices are still very red. Looking at US 30 right now, it's currently down 145 points. So we have a sell bias today for the most part. We have a sell bias. Also looking over here at the retail sentiment, that's not really going to help us today because the market is pretty much neutral for the most part. But yeah, looking at the stock index right here, it's pretty much all red. So our bias for today is going to be a sell. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This low over here was never established. You can see that this right here was already invalidated off the following candle. I know it looks like a variation right here, Maddie, if you're on here, but I wouldn't take it. There's no wick rejection off. It's just a full-on candle. Usually, if it's a full candle like this, it's too risky. Yeah, it needs wicks, exactly. So I'm glad you identified that and you noticed that as well, because I do see some people looking for some variations here. This wouldn't be considered a variation because it needs a double wick rejection. And there's no low right there because this low is already invalidated by the following candle. So for this right here, even if it was a variation, a reason why I wouldn't take this, it isn't a variation, but I will give you guys my reasoning why I wouldn't take it, even if you were to see a variation there, is because the fundamentals are still bearish. So you can see price comes right back down right here. I'd possibly be looking for some variations on the opposite direction, but for one, this isn't a variation, and even if it was, I wouldn't take it due to the fact that it doesn't fit the criteria, and it's also against the fundamentals. So let's see what we got over here. All right, there's nothing available right now, guys. You can see price kind of just slowed down a bit. I mean, it didn't slow down like all too much, but it's not really moving directional. It's more so just going sideways at this moment. So hopefully it picks up and it doesn't move like it did yesterday. Let's see. Looks like it kind of is moving similar to yesterday. It had the the initial move on open and then just literally died out. Let me see if there's any other news today. I don't think there is. There's news at, well, there's news at 7, which is final wholesale inventories. We have news at 7:30, natural gas storage, and then news at 10, which is the 30-year bond auction. Nothing really high impact. The only medium impact news was the unemployment claims from earlier. Other than that, no real news going on in the market today that would necessarily affect US 30. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because we're probably not going to see too much irregular moves in the market today. However, it's not a great thing because the market looks like it's going to be a bit slow because there's no catalyst really pushing price one direction or the other. Usually there's news so that to catalyst because people are gambling off the news. And they're making their moves off news. However, today it's just not happening. All right, so price is pushing up right here. This is cool because we do want price to push up slightly so that it can retrace up and then come right back down. Let's see. Still 124 points in the red. So let's see what happens here. It created a high right there. So I'll draw this is a pending high. It's not established yet. We need 5 candles to pass it until it establishes. I was trying to see if there's a variation that would come up, but it doesn't look like it. Angel said, I think natural gas is restricted. Let me check that real quick. Thanks, Angel, for confirming that. Looking over here, yeah, so natural gas storage is restricted, but I think it's only restricted for oil, US oil, if you're trading US oil. However, I'm still not going to trade during the news. When the news does come out, I'm going to be waiting a few minutes after. I think you just can't trade 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after. It used to be 15 minutes before, but I think they changed it to 5. So even if it does affect it or not, or if it's restricted, I won't be trading it until time has passed after it. Yeah, Lorraine said when Sean yawns, the market is bad, right? I know. Normally I don't yawn in the morning, but I've been yawning yesterday and the day before that, which it is a good sign because usually I'm not bored in the market when it opens. I'm usually on point and waiting for for these trades to come. It's just there isn't anything available for us right now. All right, so this is a 3-minute daily right here, but I wouldn't take this trade here. Reason for me not taking it is because the fundamentals are red. So yeah, this is a 3-minute daily right there that Maddie identified, but I wouldn't take it because of the fundamentals right here. I still take fundamentals into consideration, guys. So don't ever forget about fundamentals. Fundamentals and retail sentiment are always going to be number one. Well, retail sentiment will probably be number one if it's high enough, like if it's in the 70 to 80% range. But if it's around the 56, it's not going to be very much help to us because it's just neutral. The next one's going to be fundamentals. This will always be number one. And lastly, obviously, technical analysis. But yeah, I wouldn't take this buy right here for that specific reason. And you can see right here that it was a good reason that we wouldn't have taken it because price pulled back heavily right after it opened, right? Not to say that it won't swing back up, but I wouldn't want to be in this heavy drawdown right here. This would be I'd be so upset if I took this trade and then it went straight into drawdown like that. So it looks like you can possibly bounce off this New York low like it did earlier, but it's just too risky. I wouldn't go against the fundamentals like that. Yeah, exactly. So Maddie, he identified that as well. It's just not worth the risk when you're going against the fundamentals like that because it's probably going to pull back down just like it did right here. So going over to the 1 minute. So this would be a variation right here, Maddie, but I don't think I would take it again because it's a buy. I would take variations for a sell, but not really for a buy because of the fundamentals. They're strong for a for a sell right now. So I'm not sure if you're looking at this variation right here, Maddie, but I wouldn't take it. Yeah, and the session's right there as well. So Charles also mentioned that the sessions is right there anyways. Yeah, so a lot of red flags here. For one, it's against fundamentals. For two, it's right at the sessions indicator, or the sessions line, basically the previous session, the previous New York session low. Even though it would be a good trade, I mean, not a good trade, but it would have hit. So if you took the variation there for a buy, it would have hit, but I wouldn't take that risk. It's not worth it. Going over here at the snipe. So you guys mentioned that there's a snipe available. Yeah, there's a snipe available right here, guys, but it is at the session, the previous New York session and London session low. So it'd be risky, but yeah, this would be a snipe right here. So you guys did identify that correctly. So not to say that it's not going to come down, but I just find it a bit risky because it is right at the sessions. But yeah, looking at this right here, you can see that we have a wick rejection off the pivot. We also have a wick rejection off the K2SR zone. We confirm that the wick rejection off the pivot doesn't touch the candle body. The body's down here, the pivot's over here, so it's not touching the body. And we confirm the direction of momentum since we have a sell signal right here as well. So yeah, this would be a snipe entry. So Randy said that snipe is more than just a snipe though, right? This would also be a daily entry as well. So yeah, you're right, Randy. This would also be the daily entry. But it's just the area where it currently is right now, which makes it risky. That's why you see this huge rejection off to the upside. I would probably wait for it to clear below here. So what I'll be doing is I'll be doing what we did on Monday. I'll be taking trades within the daily. So we do have the daily right here. Obviously, you guys know the daily pulls back every so often and whatnot. And then it generally comes right back down later in the session. So what I'll be doing is I'll still be looking for some sells, but I'll be looking for sells here off the 1 minute and the 3 minute here. So that's basically what I'm looking for. And the thing is, if we get into an entry here off the 3 minute or the 1 minute, so say for example, if I get a sell entry here off the 3 minute, we'll probably get a better entry point because this is currently, above opening price. And I'll probably just hold on to it for the move, or I'll just move my stop loss and profit and just continue to trail it. So instead of getting out at 250 pips or 500 pips, whatever I'm looking for here, I'll be getting out for a bigger profit. So instead of having a TP set, I'll just move my stop loss lower and lower as it continues to drop lower and lower. So yeah, you're right with that, Randy. Good identification with that. So it's good that you guys are all identifying this, and I'm glad that you guys are, because the thing is, we only are better with more sets of eyes. So if we're all looking on different charts and we're all looking for different entries, it definitely helps with us avoiding any missed trades, because obviously there's only one of me and I can only look at so many charts at once. But yeah, looking at this right here off the 1 minute, I will be setting a pending high right here if and when it closes. All right, so there's about 10 seconds left on there. There goes the pending high. Outside. All right, let's see. Man, this market is I was hoping the market would pick up today, but it's not really. I mean, it's volatile, but it's not really moving directional. So going over to the clean chart, let me just zoom out a little bit. You guys can see here that it isn't really doing much. It's literally just ranging in a big range right now. Is your market opened over here? So as you guys can see, price is literally just going sideways at this time. Right down there. And we just gotta wait for direction to be set. I do think it's gonna come down because the fundamentals, everything's pointing for a sell right now. Fundamentals are red. Stock index is pretty much all red right here for the most part. The daily is a sell. You know, there's a lot of things pointing towards a sell here. It's just the market is just not really moving. It's kind of just hanging around that area right there. So yeah, if you guys do want to take the daily, I mean, feel free. I'm not in the daily, so if I do enter it, or if I enter a different trade and I end up holding it for the daily move, then I'll let you guys know. But what we'll do here is we'll just set some alerts, because I know some of you guys like taking this with a small lot size, and then you guys just like letting it run without having to watch it. So this is going to be the fee. But I prefer to get a better entry point. That's why I'm waiting for it to move down. Because the thing is, I don't want to tie all of my capital into this one trade. Like if I take a big lot size off this, I would just have to hold on to it, and then I wouldn't be able to enter any other scalps within it, which would provide for better entries, or not better entries, but just better entry points. All right, and you can see price still bouncing around this area. Exactly why I would want to enter it. Because what could happen here is price can pull back pretty heavily. And then what could happen is it just come right back down. So the thing is, if I don't enter this trade right now, I can just wait for an entry to come up from the top side. Like if it pulls up to here, and if we get an entry off the 1 minute or 3 minute, I can just write it down for a discount. And that's kind of what I'm doing right here. You can see that this high right here was invalidated. So, and I'll leave it alone. I'm not going to draw another one yet until this one here closes. But, you know, just looking at US 30 from a bird's eye view, it's not really looking good at all. It's just going back and forth within the range for the day. So I still have the range here set up. You guys can see that the range still hasn't been broken. This is the main range, this low right here and this high. This is the range from this session. So price hasn't broken out from where it pushed up and down from market open. It's still bouncing within the middle of it. We do have a couple tighter high lows right here, one right there, and one right there pending. So as you guys can see, the range is getting a bit tighter, but it's not necessarily breaking out of it yet. So I'll just draw one right there, one right there, and one right there. Price just broke that right there again. So I'm just going to take this one off for now until it establishes that high. So as you guys can see over here, this would be the wide range because this is from market open 630, and then this would be the range within the range, which is okay because we want the range to get tighter and tighter. As the range gets tighter and tighter, say for example, the range keeps getting tighter and tighter, and I give you guys this explanation every morning. As the range continues to get tighter and tighter, this is fine because when the range gets tighter like this, it's just prepping for a breakout. So if price ends up going alongside here, this just indicates that a breakout is becoming right after it, to the upside or to the downside. Most likely to the downside, but you know, it's just the market makers trying to gauge where the retail traders currently are. And it's going to be hard for them to gauge because, you know, looking over here at the retail sentiment, there's no like one side of retail traders. They're kind of right down the middle. That's why price has been consolidating a lot, because they haven't really chosen a direction, right? The way that market makers and institutions make a lot of money is that they push price opposite of retail traders. Currently right now, the retail traders are right down the middle. there's 56% short, but it's not enough people on the short side for them to really push price up and stop them out, right? They probably want to increase this. So that's why I think price is going to continue to drop more. In order for them to really create a big pool of orders, they need to give people a reason to enter the sells. So, but it's been like this the entire week. So that's why it hasn't really been moving that much. And this is why this is my first confluence that I look at generally, because I don't want to be trading where everyone's trading. I want to be trading the opposite. All right, so price is breaking above the high for this one right here, and it'll just be pushing it higher and higher. So another reason why I wouldn't take any of the bigger moves right now, because you can see how price is currently pushing to the upside right there, which is fine. It's still super far away from where it needs to be, but it's doing what I mentioned earlier, right? It's probably going to push up slightly and then probably come back down. Let's see, Paul said it's 88 points in the red. So yeah, if that becomes the case where it becomes 88 points in the red, then our bias can change, right? Bias can always change at any time. This is why I personally don't like taking the daily unless it's like super in the direction that we're looking for, which it was in a sell, but it wasn't necessarily, all of the other confirmations here just weren't lining up. Like one of the main things would be the retail sentiment. If this was like 70% long and then this was red and then we had a sell entry, then yeah, for sure I would take it. But currently right now, the less confluences, the less probability of the trade hitting. So what's be waiting from here? You can see price came up, rejected off this Asia low. So rejected off the Asia low. And then now it's coming right back down. So I'm going to move this a little bit higher. This is now going to be the new high right there. So we'll see what happens here. Price will probably come back down. Price broke the high right here. So if you're looking to take the high low, I wouldn't have taken this high low for specific reasons, or that the fundamentals were sells. And looking at this right here, you can see that it reached this Asia low. So that, there's a lot of main confluences that I look at. The main confluences that I look at when I'm looking for trades and determining whether it's risky or not is first, like I mentioned, retail sentiment, second, fundamentals, third, technicals. But the main technicals that I look at here would be the session high lows, because you can see what happens whenever price reaches these session high lows, right? It becomes a highly manipulated price area, because whenever price reaches these high lows, price will do one of two things. It'll either bounce off and fake out and then come right back up, or it'll bounce off and it'll just come crashing down further. So the thing is, you don't want to trade around these areas where these previous session high lows are, because you're basically gambling at that point, right? You have a 50% chance whether it's going to continue pushing up or whether it's going to fake out and drop below. The problem with this right here is that you get sometimes you'll get double fake outs. So right here, price came down and then it gave you a sell signal, or not a sell signal, but a sell candle. So you guys can see right here, if you were to see this and you're just basing all the trades off the session high lows, right? This would necessarily indicate that price is probably going to come down. So for example, if you take a sell right here, you're probably going to have your stop loss above here, right? Because that's where everyone places it, right? Everyone places it like right above certain price points where they think price is not supposed to go up. So what could happen here is price will fake out, go back to the upside like it did right there, and then stop you out. And then again, right here, this can fake you out again, and it can come right back down. So whenever price gets near these session high lows, this is generally an area where I just avoid trades. I wait for it to break past it or below it, so that I don't have to worry about price being stuck in that area. So price pushed to another high right here. Let's push this even higher. And you guys can see that, price is not necessarily moving smoothly. It was kind of just ranging and spiking, whipsawing around this area, came right back up. This doesn't necessarily mean it's going to keep pushing up. You can see price coming right back down. So this is why you guys got to be a bit patient and just be disciplined in waiting for those perfect entries. Right now, we don't have any perfect entries. We have a couple entries here that are very risky, including the daily. So you can see price pushing up right here. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if price ends up coming right back down, just like how we mentioned earlier. So we'll see what happens next. Let me see if there's any other news that came out today. Let me refresh this. All right, so final home sale. Let's see where this is at. Yeah, final wholesale inventories was negative. They were expecting it to be 2.2%. It was actually 2.3, so they didn't sell as much as they were anticipating. We have natural gas storage coming up at 730. So as you can see, price is coming back down. This is where you guys don't want to get caught in. So don't FOMO into trades, guys. Like, you know, I mentioned to you guys before that one of my biggest hurdles with trading, even till today, is still FOMO into trades. So if I see an entry, I usually FOMO into it, or I don't do it anymore as much, rarely. I'll FOMO into trades if I see people posting profits, or if I see a good entry and then I get in, I miss the actual entry and I FOMO into it. And then what happens is I end up getting in a bad entry because I get in so late that it ends up stopping me out. But I haven't had that in a while. But that's probably, even until now, that's still one of my biggest issues with trading. Not really revenge trading anymore, because whenever I do lose a trade, I just call it a day. And that's why we have such a high win rate, because I don't really look for anything risky. I look for something that's like almost guaranteed. But FOMO is one of the biggest things for me, because there'll be times where I'll be analyzing the chart and I'll miss a trade, and someone like Maddie or someone else in the group will say that there was an entry that came up, and then I'll want to take it, but then it's like way past entry and it's already at TP. So one thing is to definitely not FOMO into trade. You can see prices coming right back down. So as you guys can see here on the 10-minute, it's kind of doing what we anticipated, pull back into drawdown and probably swing back down. But there's no entries available here currently. So let me just move this higher. There, this is no longer there anymore. And then we have another pending low right here. Zoom a little bit. All right, so no entries available at this moment. If you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be waiting for any other entries here. Pyramid's pushed up quite a bit. Yeah, see, and this is why I wouldn't have taken the snipe there. So you guys can see that price rejected right off the New York low over here. And then it shot all the way back up. So that's something that you guys want to be careful of. So if you guys take anything away from this session, the first things that you guys want to look at would be retail sentiment. Make sure that you're not trading with the majority of traders. Right now, it's only 56%, so it's not very high. But you definitely want to look at retail sentiment first, 55% short. Second, you want to look at fundamentals, because you don't want to be trading against the fundamentals here. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you're not trading anywhere near these session high lows. So if you guys have the K2 indicators, you guys know which ones are the session high lows. Basically, it'll be indicated right here. And if you guys aren't familiar with the session high lows, these are basically the previous session's highs and lows. So for example, yesterday Asia session, yesterday afternoon for me, this would be the Asia low and this would be the Asia high. Vice versa, yesterday for New York session, this was the high and then this was the low. So as you guys can see, you don't want to trade around those areas because price generally rejects off those points. But yeah, other than that, I'm not in any trades right now. Haven't seen anything good. You can see that price is now broken into a range above here. So this is the wide range right here. And this is the small range right here. Got one right there. And then we got one right there. All right, so you guys can see the smaller range within the wide range, right? So this is the big range over here, and then this would be the small range right here within it. We'll see what happens from here. Price might, yeah, I mean, it might as well just drop right back down. It looks like that's what's possibly going to happen here, but who knows? Price is pushing up right there. The high's been pushed up a bit higher. Oops. Let's continue moving this along the way. Let's delete this. It's been validated. All right. Adjust this one to a little higher. So yeah, not really much happening here. I mean, you can see price was consolidating within this area, had a bullish move, then went consolidation again right here. Yeah, so as you guys can see from this point, you can kind of tell where price broke up to this point. So right here, you can see this is where price was initially consolidating. You can even draw a line right here, actually. Price was initially consolidating within this area, had a bullish move, consolidation again, possible bullish move here. But if it continues to push, I'll just keep drawing, I'll keep adjusting the high. I'm still not looking for any buys right now because the fundamentals still aren't in the green, I don't think. Yeah. Still 68 points in the red. So I'm not looking for any buys yet. It's still indicating that price can likely come back down. So I'm just, waiting for any actual entries to come up. The market kind of looks like how it did yesterday. Do you guys remember how yesterday looked? Where there was a bunch of lows here that were being established. Or yesterday there was a bunch of highs. So let's go back to yesterday's market. Okay, so if you guys remember, so I'll just mark up yesterday. So it looks exactly the same, but the market's doing the opposite. So if you guys remembered yesterday, this is where the market opened at 6:30. And then what we were doing is we were drawing these highs here that weren't being broken, right? So price kept coming down. And then there was just a bunch of highs right here that weren't being broken. Right around this area. So we got off around 8:15 around this time. So the thing is when price didn't break these highs, we were anticipating price to swing right back to the upside, right? If you guys remembered. So if you guys were here on the live session yesterday, we were waiting for these highs to be broken. Because there was a bunch of highs here that just weren't, it was just going opposite. So today price is actually going opposite. It's going up, but we're anticipating it to come back down. So yesterday, if you remember, we got off the live session around here, like around 8 something. It was like 8:15 or something like that. So around this period right here, we were following this, and I was like, okay, like the fundamentals were super bullish, and we were just waiting for it to break these highs, and price never broke the highs here. So what we did was we were just waiting for it to swing up, right? And you guys were waiting for it to swing up as well. So I got off the live session here around like 8:15. We stayed on longer than we normally do. And then we were just waiting. And then eventually, there's more highs that are being established here. And then eventually, when price finally broke these highs here, it just hit liquidity, right? Because you can see all these highs here that aren't broken. And then what I mentioned yesterday was when price finally breaks above these points, it's going to hit all the stop losses that were placed there, and then it was going to shoot to the upside. So as you guys can see right here, that's basically what happened. Price broke the highs right here, hit some stop losses, and then it just kept pushing up higher and higher throughout the rest of the session. Because it was like from this until like noon, I think, where price continued to push up higher and higher. And you can see from that area, you can see from these highs that we drew, it just creates like a stairwell to the upside. See, and you can see exactly where it hits, right? So if I just rewind to here, you can see when price finally hit these highs over here that we drew, it was just like a constant push to the upside from like 10 to 12. Right there, right? And it pushed up exactly to that area. So that's basically what's happening right now. It's just the opposite. Yesterday price was going down and then it was going to swing to the upside. Today, price is going up and it's probably going to swing back to the downside. So let me go over here real quick. Just delete this. Let's turn that off. Yeah, so you can see right here that we have these lows that are being lined up right here, but it hasn't broken them yet. So price might continue to push up, and then probably around 8 to 9, price will consolidate a bit, and then from like 10, I think from this point right here, this is probably where it'll start coming back down from 10 to 12. I mean, there's no guarantee it's going to happen, but you know, it's the same pattern that was playing out yesterday with the market when it kept pushing alongside. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This still wouldn't be an entry for a high low because these highs haven't been established. Every time they get broken, it just establishes a new high. So let's move it up a bit higher. See, Maddie said 3-minute daily about to hit TP. I think the daily already passed earlier, Maddie. So that wouldn't be the daily for that one. The daily was actually over here off this. Or no, you're right, actually. That was a daily. Even though I wouldn't have taken it. I think it might have hit, or no, it didn't hit stop loss. It got really close to it. So here's a daily from earlier, guys. So I forgot who identified it earlier. I don't want to take it because of the, because it was against the fundamentals. But yeah, the daily did hit. So whoever took the 3-minute daily, I mean, nice work. I didn't take it, obviously. You know, if you guys rewind the replay, I gave reasons why I wouldn't want to take it. A lot of reasons were the fact that it was getting close to the Asia low, and then the fact that the fundamentals were for a sell, but it did hit full TP. So I didn't catch it. So obviously it's not to be counted, but whoever did catch it, nice work. This daily also lined up with the pivot scalp. So it's 2 entries in one. Yeah, other than that, going back to the 10-minute over here, you can see price kind of swung up over here. Price can easily come right back down. So I don't have a bias right now. I mean, our bias is technically a sell still, but there isn't much for us to take, because every entry that does come up has just been risky. Like for example, this 3-minute here, that buy that we were looking at earlier, this was available, but I didn't take it because it was too risky. It was against the fundamentals. And you know, me being disciplined, I'm not going to take any trades that are too risky like that. Going over to the index over here, or the average is still 66 points in the red. Looking over here at the actual index, we'll refresh this. This looks like I mean, most of the stocks, it's just halfway down. The stocks here are stronger on the red side, but it's half red, half green. So there really is no clear direction with regard to fundamentals today. Professor said, can you look at the 10-minute snipe? So looking at the 10-minute snipe over here, there's no snipe that's available right now, Professor. Looking at this over here, I guess technically this one would have been a snipe, but I wouldn't be taking these trades here because it's still close to these session high lows. So both of these snipes wouldn't have worked. There's nothing that's available right now, though. This one right here would have went straight to stop loss. But I was giving reasons earlier why I wouldn't be trading on these higher time frames right now, because it looks like price is going to keep pushing up, and then it might just drop right back down later on today, or it can keep pushing up. Who knows? It's just not a risk that I want to take with regard to these trades, because you can never be 100% sure about a trade, right? You guys got to keep that in mind. Whenever you guys are analyzing a trade, you have to analyze it from both perspectives. So say, for example, you're taking a sell trade, or you're looking to take a sell. You also have to analyze it from a bullish perspective as well, because the thing is, price isn't always going to be, like, the market isn't always going to show you exactly what you're looking for. It'll give you hints as to like what you're looking for, but it's never going to give you like a straight direct, like, oh, this is for sure going to be a buy or this is for sure going to be a sell. You got to weigh your pros and cons. And for me today, my pros and cons don't line up. We have too many pros and then we have too many cons, and then vice versa. If we look the other way, we have too many pros and too many cons that way as well. Paul said, these markets suck ass. I'm done for the day. Yeah, I'm hoping I can catch at least one trade with you guys before I log off though. Today's just like yesterday. Yesterday, I didn't take any trades because the market was like this. See, this is the problem here. You guys don't want to chase this buy because I know a lot of you guys are starting to lean towards a buy. The reason why you don't want to lean toward, you don't want to, fall for a buy here because price can easily come right back down. The fundamentals are still red. So one thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that the fundamentals are still red here. It's not like 100 points in the red, but it's still in the red. So the thing with this is that price can easily just come right back down unless there's like some news event that's causing price to continue to push up higher. There really isn't any news event that's coming out right now, aside from the crude oil inventories or whatever it is. Yeah, natural gas storage at 7:30, but that's not, I don't think that's necessarily going to affect the market too much. Let's see, Powell's fourth major shift raises questions about the Fed's policy credibility. So let's see, there's some Powell news that came out about 5 hours ago. I'm not sure how this affected the market necessarily, but yeah, there was some Powell news that came out earlier. I'll have to read this later, but I don't think it's really, I mean, whatever it is, I don't know if it's affecting the market or not, but whatever it is, it's there. But yeah, guys, going back to the charts over here, you guys can see that price is starting to come right back down. But we'll see. We won't really know until this is, if this has been established as the high yet, until it comes right back down. So my guess here, or not really my guess, but my anticipation here is that if price starts to swing back below here and then closes below this point, then it's probably going to reverse back to the downside. But yeah, just a reminder, guys, I'm not in any positions. I know we were looking at the daily earlier, but I'm not in that yet. I'm looking for any positions that would be coming down from there. So here's what I'm looking for, guys. I'm looking for a sell entry. And if I get a sell entry, I'm probably going to chase it back down following this 10-minute here. I'm not in this 10-minute right here for the daily because this is pretty much what we anticipated, right? If you guys go back and rewind the replay, I mentioned that price can go up here and pull back pretty far back, close to stop loss, and then it can easily come right back down, right? I didn't enter at this point because I didn't want to get in at a bad entry because I already anticipated this to happen where price was probably going to pull back a bit and then come right back down at some point. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. It's not guaranteed. But from my perspective, that's kind of what's going to happen because I see a lot of people, like what I see here is I see a trap being set up. I see people like they're loading up buys over here so that once a lot of retail traders chase into this bullish move, they just spike price right back down and stop everyone out, right? And you can see right here, that's kind of what's happening. People who are FOMOing into this trade for a buy. Because what happens when you guys see this here? I'm just gonna like give you guys, let me go here. I'll go to a clean chart. So what generally happens is when you guys see a move like this, so price is consolidating, right? A lot of people are looking for that breakout. They see the breakout to the upside right here. And what happens? People enter into these buys, right? People get super excited and their emotions get involved. And they're like, oh, price has got to keep going up. So what happens? They enter a buy and then they have their, this is usually what happens. A lot of people have like a big TP, they'll go for a huge, target, like way up there. And then their stop loss will be like right here off the candle. And then they get excited because they think price is going to go up. And what happens is they get stopped out right away. Like this happens to a lot of people. They get stopped out and then they're like, oh, well, I didn't get lucky. So they wait for the next one. And then price goes up further. And then they see this push up past this price point, right? Because they're like, oh, I probably just got in too early. I got to get in now. So what happens is people do the same thing. They re-enter the trade and then they let price run and it comes back down and stops them out. And then what happens is people who keep chasing this buy here is that they keep getting trapped into this thing that they think that price is going to keep pushing up. So they just keep waiting and they see price pull up again right here and they're like, all right, this is the last time. They enter this again. and then they get stopped out, or the market is like playing with them at this point, right? Because people enter the trade, they get stopped out again. They're like, oh crap. Well, I guess it's not bullish. So this is why I always told you guys not to FOMO into trades. Because if you guys aren't using any analysis or any strategy, and you guys are just looking for these breakouts, you're probably going to chase these breakouts. But the thing is, like, you can easily get trapped in these positions here. So that's why I'm not really falling for any of this stuff right now. I'm pretty much just waiting for stuff to confirm. Yeah, Maddie said, in my opinion, price reversing if it breaks below the sessions. That's what I'm thinking too, Maddie. So I'm looking at the same thing you're looking at. This low right here is broken, so I'll just delete that. And another pending low right here. Let's go back to the chart with the markups. Clean this up right here. All right, going back over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's technically a high-low entry right there, but it's not one that I would take because it doesn't line up with these right here. If we get a high-low that closes below here with the sell signal, then I will probably take this trade. This is probably the one that I'm looking for or waiting for. If it closes below here, let's draw a couple other lines over here. Another high right there. All right, so price is currently ranging within this area right here. So you can see the lower range was down here. This is now the higher range. And I'm personally looking for this to come right back down. Yeah, but Dad said it's coming down as well. Maddie said celebration and high low would have been great right now. Yeah, no, I feel you, Maddie. Yeah, I'm hoping we get a buy signal here, so that when it comes down, we'll have a sell signal that closes below here. It'll provide for an entry that lines up with all three strategies. I don't want it to come down just yet. I want it to pull back a little more. So I wanted to range within this area, and then when it ranges, I want it to finally break below with the sell signal. If it breaks below with the sell signal, then we're pretty much good. Good to go. See how big this range is right here. So the range isn't huge, but it's pretty sizable. All right, perfect. This is kind of what I want. I want a buy signal to come up here so that when we get a sell signal that closes below here, I want this to bounce up, give a buy signal, and then I want it to come right back down and close below here. If that's what we get and it closes below this point, or it doesn't have to be below this point, but any of these lines here, then I might be ready to take a sell. Yeah, currently right now, there isn't anything at this moment. Yeah, man, it's too bad the market is just trash. Yeah, I know, it sucks. All right, so pretty much just waiting right here. Yeah, Jay said just rejecting off the Asia session. Yeah, it's pretty much what we're looking at. Rejected right off right there. But I wanted to reject off it, come up, have a buy signal, and come back down to sell signal. Because right now, we can't get a sell signal because we have a sell signal right here already. We would need an opposite signal in order for us to get a sell. So this is cool. This is exactly what I want. I want price to come up a bit, and then I'll catch it as it comes right back down. Let's go back over here to the 1 hour. You can see that the 1 hour right here, price is attempting to shift to the downside, right? So you can see the trend meter down here is currently blue. So it's shifting from a buy bias to a sell bias, or an uptrend to a downtrend. And just looking at this here, I'll draw like a channel right here. So you can see that price is attempting to make its way down. And this is the 1 hour time frame. So on the higher time frame right here, price is attempting to make its way down. It's also rejecting off the pivots, right? So it's rejecting off the pivots right here. If it closes here in the next 30 minutes, it'll probably come down even lower, because you can see when price continuously rejects off the pivots here, it usually continues to push in that direction. So just looking at the charts over here, you can see when price was doing the same thing over here, it started to shift to the downside, rejected off the pivots, and it came right back down further. And you can see right there, fat little fat candle right there. So price actually broke below the low. Yeah, I'm like tempted to take it, but I also don't want to take it. It's too big of a candle. Yes, it's way too big of a candle. So this would be a high-low entry right here, but it's just too risky because the candle's too big. Yeah, this candle is way too big. So I'm not going to take it. I'm going to hold off. Fuck, it's going to hit TP too. I should have just taken it. It's okay. So as you guys can see, and it hit TP right there. So this is exactly what we were waiting for, man. This is exactly what we were waiting for, but it didn't fit my criteria. So this is why, you know, the more disciplined you are, the less likely you are to FOMO into trades. Because the thing is, this could have easily went opposite for me, right? It could have easily just pulled back and hit my stop loss. So with me being disciplined, even though I saw an entry here, because this is what we were looking for. If you guys remember, this is exactly what we were looking for, but I wanted there to be a sell signal there in order for me to take it. Looks like J took it. So J took it. I got the full TP off that. But you can see right here, this is pretty much what we were waiting for it to happen. We were waiting for it to come up, come back down, and then close below here. But in order for me to take it, I wanted a sell signal so that it would line up with all these three strategies. So as you guys can see, the strategies still work perfectly fine, even if you're just using like one of the strategies. But due to the market conditions, I don't want to be taking these risky trades, because look, for example, right here, if I FOMO'd into this trade, I would have gotten screwed, right? Because price was already hitting TP. And then if I try to enter late, it would have swung right back up and hit my stop loss, or it got close to hitting my stop loss. So this is why you guys got to be disciplined. You're either 100% in or you're 100% out. For me, I was 100% out because my requirements here didn't get met. If they're met, then yeah, I would have taken the trade. But you know, this is where it's key, where like your practice, your knowledge, your trade psychology comes into play. Because the thing is, if you get sucked into this right here, like I could have easily entered this late for a sell, and if I did, I would have gone stopped out, because I would have been in some massive drawdown right now. And I would have been so mad at myself for entering the trade because it already hit TP. So it's all good, man. Shit happens. We're just going to wait for the next one now. The only problem now is that even if we get a next one, it's going to be so close to this London low. So I don't even want to take the trade if it comes below this point. But it's okay. I'll delete these lows here. The new low is going to be right here. Oh, man, this market is so trash. It's like frustrating because we were waiting for that move right there this entire morning, and it didn't fit the requirements, so we didn't take it. But even if we did take it, you know, cutting out these two strategies here, it still would have hit TP. But I mean, it's okay. It is what it is. I'm still in profit for this whole week. I haven't had any losses. So, you know, profit's profit. You just got to focus on the wins and focus on avoiding the losses. So no losses is still a win for me. For the day. So nice work, Jay. So it looks like some of you guys took it here, actually. So looking over here, Angela's currently up 1,551. She trades GJ. So if you guys have seen Angela's profits here at GJ, she uses the pivot strategy on GJ. So as you guys can see, the strategies work perfectly fine on other assets. Angela just likes GJ, which is great. You know, if she wants to use it, then it's perfect. She can continue to use it, and it works pretty well for her. Dell over here took the sell. Looks like he locked in a total of 267. Nice work, Dell. Yeah, Dell said market trash. I'm happy with this for today. No, I agree. You know, profit's profit for a day, especially with how the market's moving. And then Patricia over here as well. Patricia's currently up 1,186. Nice work, Patricia. That's her one account. I think she has another account as well. Well, she'll post it later. Looking at Vapid over here, locked in a total of 34. So nice for Vapid. He traded NASDAQ and US 30, both wins, no losses. He said he was trying to sell US 30, but he took NASDAQ, but he still won. So nice work right there, Vapid. Other than that, yeah, so Patricia's first account, she locked in 1,186. And then Patricia's second account, she locked in 2,435. So great work right there, Patricia. Yeah, so great work right there, Patricia. Nice profits all around. Looking at Tommy over here, Tommy locked in a total of 4,200. Nice work, Tommy. And then we got Parn over here, locked in a total of 1,824. Nice work. He took the sells right here. All wins, no losses. So great work right there, Ron. Or Aaron, sorry, bro. I was just reading your name off the thing right here. I didn't realize it was you. Scotty over here too, locked in a total of 131. Nice work, Scotty. And Patricia over here on her other account, 2,435. So great work, guys, amongst everyone here. I haven't taken any trades myself, but I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here still profiting, taking trades off my analysis, even though, you know, they're risky trades. So even though I find them risky, some of you guys still take the trades, and it's great because, you know, one thing that you guys got to keep in mind is that you guys are in control of your account, right? I'll give you guys my analysis, but it's up to you whether you want to take the trade or not. So if you take a risky trade and it hits, great. If you take a risky trade and it loses, you guys have to take responsibility for taking that trade, because I literally told you guys it was a risky trade. But no, you know, it's just really up to you guys. You know, you guys have to understand trade psychology, and you guys have to know when to take trades and when not to, because I'm not controlling your account. You guys are controlling yours. So great work amongst everyone here who locked in some profits. Myself, I don't have any profits for the day so far. I haven't taken any trades. I don't trade Asia anymore for now, and I don't trade London. So my accounts are pretty much dry for today and yesterday, actually. It's kind of like how it was last week, right? Last week, I only took 3 trades, but I still made a pretty massive amount of profit. Again, today, it's the same situation. I'm just pretty much waiting for these perfect entries to come up. So other than that, let's see. If you guys have any questions, though, feel free to ask questions. You know, if you guys are confused about anything, if you guys are wondering, if you guys have any trades in mind that you guys are looking to take, you know, you can always let me know, and I can analyze it for you and give you the pros and cons with regard to whatever entry you guys are looking to take. I'm still looking for an entry here. I haven't had anything yet, but if we find something good, then yeah, of course I'll take it. But you can see that price is starting to waterfall down, right? Looking back at the daily over here. So as you guys can see, it's doing exactly what I anticipated, right? So if you guys remember from the beginning of the session, when we did see the daily here, I mentioned that price was probably going to retrace. It was going to pull back into some drawdown, and then it was going to come right back down, right? And look what's happening here. It's doing exactly what we anticipated. Orang's asking if I would still take the daily. So I wouldn't take the daily on its own, just like I mentioned earlier. I would probably wait for other entries to come up. So what I would do is I'd be looking for an entry off the 1 minute or 3 minute, and then I would just hold on to it as it continues to drop further. But I need one that lines up with all these 3 strategies here. If I just get one, it's still a bit too risky for me to take it because of how the market's moving. But if I find one that lines up with all 3, then I'll probably take it, and then I'll hold on to it, and I'll just let it run further. Because the thing is, when I'm taking a trade on this lower time frame, I can use a bigger lot size because I understand the risk. So say for example, so just use this for example, right? Say for example, we get an entry here off the 1, right? And then I write it down for the whole move right here, right? Instead of me just making 1,000 off that trade, I'll technically make 15,000. So you guys see where I'm going with this, right? I'm pretty much weighing my risks, but I'm going to be basing it off the 1 minute here. So instead of just closing out at 100 pips, I'm going to hold on to it, and then I'm just going to keep moving my stop loss lower and lower. So I pretty much hit the jackpot at that point, because I'm going in with a huge lot size, but I'm understanding the risk because I'm going in with a huge lot size. Not a huge lot size, but my normal lot size off the 1 minute, but I'm technically writing the daily farther down. So instead of me making like 1,000 off this trade, I would just make anything above that. Because when I reach the TP, I'll just keep moving stop loss lower and lower. And then I'll just keep riding it down as it continues to push as it goes further and further. And And that's one thing that you guys can do as well. Because like using this as an example, if I'm trading the 1 minute, my lot size is going to be way different compared to the 10 minute, right? It's going to be 10 times different. So if I'm trading this, I'd use like a 1 lot. If I'm using this, I'd use a 10 lot because I'm going for a smaller move. However, I do understand the risk. So short answer to your question is yes and no, Orain. I wouldn't take it standalone, but I would take it off a different strategy and just continue riding it farther down. Same with the 3 minute as well. So we'll see what we got coming up shortly. It's 7:41 right now. Again, if it gets past 8 or if it gets close to 8, guys, then I'm probably just going to sit out the market because I don't want to get caught in that reversal. Same reversal that we were looking at yesterday. If you guys remember, the market kind of goes through a mid-market reversal around like 10. So what might happen here is price. You can see how price isn't really moving directional. All right, it's consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, and it might just break out back to the upside. So this is a problem here. The problem is that price might break back out to the top side right here. This is what I'm worried about. You can see how price is coming back up. It might come right back up. Oh, this is crazy. So look at this candle right here, guys. This green one. It came down and tested opening price. So you can see this blue line here that I drew earlier. This is where price opened from. So price came down to opening price, and then it bounced right off it. So what I'm worried about here, this is why I'm not like entering any sells and just like wanting to ride it, because what could happen is price will come up and then it'll just consolidate a bit from like 8 to 9, maybe push up higher, 9 to 10, and then from like 10 to 12, this might just come all the way back down. Right. So I'm trying my hardest not to FOMO into these trades right now, because you can see that this is just another fake out, right? So price came down to lure in some sellers. And then what happens at this point? It fakes people out and swings it right back up. So whoever FOMO'd into these sells, it's the same situation that I mentioned earlier, right? So like, this is how the market plays with people. What happens is people will see this bullish move to the upside. And what happens? People enter a long position, right? People enter a long position, they get stopped out. And then what happens when price comes back down? When price comes back down, people FOMO into this sell position right here. And then what happens when people enter into this sell? It's the same exact thing. They get faked out again. Price goes down right here. They get faked out again. They get stopped out both ways. They get stopped out for the buy and they get stopped out for the sell. This is why you guys got to be really patient and be disciplined about the entries that you guys are taking, because the market knows what's going on right now. They know that there's a lot of gamblers in the market. People are getting stopped out both ways. And you guys just have to be smart about it. So that's why I personally haven't entered any trades. A lot of people get mad because I don't enter trades, but I don't enter trades because it's risky. And I understand that it's risky because I've been trading this every day for the past 3 years now. So I've been trading throughout all the seasons. One thing that I would recommend is if you guys want to focus on one asset, trade it for like a couple years, like every day. Because once you trade it every day, you'll start to see these patterns in the market. The same thing happened yesterday, and it's happening again today. And it's happened last year and the year before that. During the winter, you get a lot of these moves here. That's why a lot of people tend to not trade during the winter. So you guys are probably heard from other people, that people stop trading around November, like late November on Thanksgiving, and then they just sit out until the next year. It's mostly like intraday and swing traders because you get a lot of this back and forth movement in the market. But for me, scalping, I see things on such a smaller perspective, right? So I can see where the actual moves are bouncing from and where a lot of these fake outs are coming up and tricking people. So I would just recommend just wait for a better confirmation. Even going back to the 1 minute over here, there's no entry available anyways to begin with. If I do find an entry, then yeah, I'll take it because it's going to confirm that price is going to move in that direction. However, right now there's just nothing available. Also, I think it's because it's raining outside. It's raining over here in California. It never rains here, so a lot of red flags in the market so far. Let's see. Ken said, just curious, what if you have a losing profit split for FTMO? So Ken, if you have a losing profit split for FTMO, they let you continue to trade the account. So say, for example, you have a 200K account, but then your profit split day, you're at like 195,000. So you're below the 200K. If that becomes the case, you just continue trading it until the next month. And then if you make it into profit, then on that next profit split, you'll get your profit split. Otherwise, you can keep trading it until you like pass the daily drawdown or the max drawdown. So you pretty much just keep using it until you either make it back into profit or until you violate one of the requirements. So like don't think of that as like pressure, guys, right? So I see a lot of people who feel pressured because they get funded and then they're in the negative and they think that they're going to lose the account. That's not the case. The case is that you'll continue to trade the account until you can bring it back. So what I do recommend, Ken, is if you're in that situation where you're funded and you're in the negative, just lower your lot size, because once you're funded, your main goal is just to not lose a funded account, right? And that's why I'm a lot more conservative with my trades, right? Because I trade funded. Like for me, it's different. When you guys are on a challenge, you guys are taking these extreme risks, trying to pass your challenge like right away. Once you're funded, you're more so on the conservative side because you don't want to lose the funded account. That's like the worst feeling. You work so hard for a whole month or less, and you get funded. And then as soon as you get funded, you're still taking these risky trades, and then you end up losing your funded account. So for me, my main goal is to not lose this funded account or my, multiple funded accounts. So that's why I'm a lot more careful with my trades. A lot of people wonder, like, why am I so careful? I'm careful because I don't want to lose my funded account. Your mindset changes once you're funded. Just keep that in mind. You don't want to take these like crazy big trades or super risky trades once you get to that point. Because once you're funded, guys, you're getting basically free profit every month. So like for me, I like to trade. Profit's just an extra that comes with trading. So when I trade and I just continue to win and I don't lose, it's just profit that comes in and I don't have to worry about it. And that's what I would recommend for you guys too. But you guys will understand. Once you guys are funded, you guys will understand what I mean and why I'm so conservative with my trades here. Because you can see I can make a ton of profits if I take every single trade, but that puts my account at risk. So that's why I'm not taking all these dumb trades that could possibly be good, but odds are it could affect my chances of keeping the account. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said LFX got to be safe once you funded. Yeah, definitely. Patrick said before my funded FTMO, I'd overtrade. Now I actually look not to trade. Exactly, Patrick. So Patrick sees exactly what I mean, right? And you guys have seen Patrick's profits in the group. So Patrick's really smart with his trades here. And I'll show you Patrick's profits from yesterday. Like Patrick over here, let's see. I know you sent some profits yesterday or the day before that. I don't remember, but I know you did send some. All right, here. So Patrick over here, right? So, Patrick is locking in like 8,000, but he's very conservative with his trades here. He's like picking out the good ones from the bad ones and avoiding losses as much as possible, right? Like here, all wins. So, your mindset changes, guys, once you get funded. I know you guys are like have dreams of becoming like a millionaire tomorrow. Odds of that happening is probably not going to happen without you taking like extreme risk. Your goals should be, you should have small goals to reach that bigger goal. So your first goal should be to, get funded. And then from there, have profit goals every day. Because, if you do the math here, guys, if you want to be a millionaire, you divide that by 12 months in a year, you divide that by 4 weeks out of the month and 5 days out of the week. So each day you have to make 4,166 to make a million, right? You can start small. You can reach $1,000 goal a day. And then from there, go to $2,000, $3,000, $1,000 or 4,000. So you can just, use that as a benchmark as to like where you need to get to. Exactly. Just like what Peter said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Some people just will never get that, right? Let's see. So Jay's asking if I would take the buy here. I wouldn't take any buys. I'm still looking for a sell, Jay. Fundamentals are still red. So I'm not looking for any sells here, any buys here. I'm still looking for some sells. I saw price broke above here and the range just gets higher and higher as you continue on. So as you guys can see, the market is like, it's what do they call this? I don't know if Rick's here. Rick calls it a kangaroo market, huh? Where's Rick at? Oh, Rick's actually here. Yeah. So Rick, let's call this a kangaroo market. This price is kind of just going back and forth. And you guys have probably seen that before. Let me see if I can find it over here. Kangaroo. All right, let me just show you guys a picture here of the it's just funny whenever I see this. So even CNBC said this. This isn't like made up. CNBC literally called it a kangaroo market. So like, you know, bullish market, bearish market. This is kangaroo market where price goes up and it bounces around the area. I remember when Rick first mentioned this, I thought he was joking. I didn't think it was real until I Googled it. And I was like, this is literally a kangaroo market because price goes up, price goes down, price goes right back up. It's not necessarily going one direction or the other. Yeah, I just find it funny because like, you know, a big outlet like CNBC calls it a kangaroo market. That wasn't Rick. I swear someone, yeah, Rick said that wasn't me. Oh wait, might have been me, drunk Rick. Yeah, I think you were messing around with Lisa. I don't think Lisa's in here. You're messing around with Lisa because Lisa's from Australia. So you kept mentioning kangaroos and you're like, oh yeah, must suck trading kangaroo market in kangaroo land. So like and you know, it's just Rick messing around with Lisa because Lisa's from Australia. Same with Duggan. I don't know if Duggan's in here, but there's a lot of you guys, there's a couple of you guys here from Australia. But yeah, basically this is what you would consider according to CNBC a kangaroo market, because it's not really bullish, it's not really bearish, it's just going back and forth. So yeah, Jay, for this specific entry right here, I wouldn't have taken it because it's going against the fundamentals here. I'm looking for a sell here, and I'm looking for price to come right back down. Hasn't come down yet, but you know, like I was mentioning earlier, it's probably going to take some time before it actually makes its way over here. So I'm going to delete these zones right here. I'll move this back down over here to this one, since this is the most recent low. And it's probably going to establish another low over here as price continues to move along, but it's still before 8. You can see it was a bullish move from here until 8, and then from 8 to 9 it's probably going to consolidate a bit, consolidate further, and then reverse from 10 to 12. But I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens next. All right, other than that, let me see if there's anything else here. Let me check the chat, see if there's any questions. I just don't have any entries available for myself, guys. So unfortunately, I mean, it sucks. It doesn't just suck for you guys, it sucks for me because, sorry, if you probably hear some noise in the back. My dog is here right now playing with a squeaky toy. Yeah, let me pull up the stuff over here. So let's see. Ken said, or let me scroll up real quick. D said, bummed I haven't caught any trades today or yesterday, but feel good that I finally have my discipline down. Big thing I had to work on. And that's the biggest thing for everybody, right, D? Not just for D, but for everyone here. The biggest problem for a lot of people is discipline, right? Because the thing is, you'll be good for like, I've seen people, it's crazy. They'll be really good for like a week or a couple weeks. And then one day they just revenge trade and they blow their account. The key here is to just be, you know, trade like you're a robot, trade with no emotion. I was just talking with Maddie about this yesterday. Like for me, I don't really celebrate my wins or my loss, or I don't get mad when I have losses. I mean, which rarely happen, but whenever I have wins, it's like, okay, I got a win there, but where's the next one? And then same with my losses. Whenever I have a loss, I just step away and I don't revenge trade it. You know, your main goal, like if you guys see how I trade, like literally every morning I trade live with you guys. And I have literally no emotions on these trades here, right? I literally take the trades and I'll be answering questions and I'll be analyzing the charts, but you don't really see me get stressed out over a trade, or you don't see me get overly happy or anything like that. It's because, you know, it's the same thing every day. You just got to keep your discipline and don't like get too overly confident with anything. Because literally, like you can go from being like a perfect trader and then discipline going out the window and you just go into a downward spiral after that. You guys have to learn how to trade without emotion, like trade like a robot and whatnot. And that's how you become a really good trader, because you're just rinsing and repeating the same thing every day. Like if you guys have been going on these live sessions, pretty much I'm looking for the same thing every single day. I'm looking for this one strategy to line up with these three strategies, which happens maybe, once, twice, or three times a day. But every time I take those trades, they always win. Like, they almost always win. And that's how you guys should be seeing it as well. So other than that, no, great work, D. I know discipline's everyone's hardest thing, but you've pretty much got it for the most part now. Ken said, yeah, I'm down 1K. Have a problem with revenge trading. Made dumb trade after live session and killed my profits. And that's all right, Ken. That happens all the time. It goes back to the whole discipline thing. Like for me, I never revenge trade. The only thing I have a problem with is FOMOing in to trades late. Sometimes they work out well, sometimes they don't. But I always make sure that I don't. I try not to do it as much as I used to. Scrolling down over here. Yeah, Patrick said, yep, even on those profit days, Sean, I think I only traded my personal account, not FTMO. Yeah, and I do the same thing too, Patrick. A lot of the times I'll just turn off my FTMO and trade on my personal so that I don't have to worry about getting caught in those in the drawdown. Scrolling down lower. Rick said, sounded like you just tooted. That's so me. I'm an emotional basket case. And it's fine, Rick. For you, this is your vice, right? Like, this is what you like to do. You like to trade, even though you're not doing well all the time and you're not doing bad all the time. This is like what makes me happy too. Like, I always tell people, like, people always talk about Rick, how Rick is not consistent. It's like, dude, Rick likes to trade. So just let him do what he wants to do. And it's the same with with me, guys. Like, with my trading, the profits don't really influence my trading. Like, I don't wake up in the morning telling myself, well, I need to make X amount of profit. I wake up in the morning because I want to trade. And that's why I got so good at this, because literally I like to actually trade. It's not necessarily trading for the profit, it's trading for being able to trade. It's like solving a puzzle every day, except the puzzle pays really well. So I mean, that's something that you guys got to figure out for yourself too. You guys should never be trading just for profit. You guys should be trading because you actually like doing this stuff. Because it's just like working a job that you hate, right? If you work a job that you hate, you're going to hate it enough to the point where you're just going to try to take extra risks to take shortcuts and stuff like that. But if you guys actually do the process properly, if you do the process properly, you guys can easily reach your goals, whether it be a profit goal or whether it be a winning goal. My goal now, like before, it used to be profits, right? I want to make X amount of profits. Now my goal is to keep up my win rate. I don't like losing trades. So the more higher quality trades I take, the better it is for me, because that's my goal here. My goal is necessarily to just not lose, because I just hate losing. I hate losing at everything, not just trading, but like anything in general. Yeah, same with Rick here. Rick said he's only been trading for 6 months or 9 months, actually, which is not that long, right? I've been trading for 11 years. That's why for me, my trade psychology is like a lot higher than a lot of other people, because I've already gone through my trials and errors. A lot of you guys still have to go through those trials and errors. Sometimes you guys have to lose X amount until it sticks with you, that you have to have that discipline down. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have only been trading for like a couple years now, don't worry, your time's coming. It's just gonna be a matter of executing and staying disciplined. So, all right, no trades available right now, guys. Market is super trash. If you guys have questions, drop your questions in the chat. I can answer whatever questions you guys have regarding the trade strategies, trade psychology, FTMO, anything really. I was hoping to catch at least one trade. I don't have any trades available for myself. I haven't taken anything myself either. So my account's at 0 right now, which is okay. It's better than these losses. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, main goal for me right now, guys, is to not lose. So I'm looking for a trade, but I'm also not looking to take anything risky. So if you guys have questions, I can help you with whatever you guys need help with. Otherwise, let me check my calendar real quick. So next week, I haven't set a date for the mentoring session yet. I don't know if we're going to have one next week because it's a bit of a busy week for me. Let me see. I could possibly have one on Monday, but I'll have to get back to you guys with that. So if you guys haven't been joining the mentoring sessions, I've been having mentoring sessions once a week now, just to help you guys out with, locking down whatever you guys need help with so that you guys can find success in trading just like everyone else here in K2. But I'll get back to you guys with that day. I think my only free days are going to be Monday and Friday. So if it doesn't happen on Monday, it's probably going to happen on Friday. But yeah, I'll get back to you guys on that once I figure out the date. Otherwise, there's no entries available right now, so I'll hang around for a little bit if you guys have questions. I don't really see anything coming up either. I was hoping that we'd probably get an entry like closer to 8, because I know what's been happening a lot the past couple of months, where you guys have also noticed it, is as soon as I get off the live, there's like one trade that comes up, which was what we were waiting for the entire session. But I don't see any of that coming up here because we're mainly looking for a sell. Let me just refresh everything here again. Yeah, fundamentals are still red. Looking at the stock index, pretty much right down the middle. They're half red, half green. And retail sentiment currently 56% short. So let's see how far this pulled back right here. This actually would have been a decent trade right here, Jay, if you caught it. This is the one that Jay was mentioning earlier. Looking for this high low. So if you took that high low right there, that would have hit TP, but it would have been kind of risky because it did pull back quite a bit, like halfway. So just keep in mind that your bias can change. You don't always have to be looking for a sell, but currently right now there's just no entries available. I'm even looking for buys here at this point. But the thing is, there's not going to be a buy available because we have a buy signal right here. We would need a sell signal to bring price down, and then we would catch it as it swings back up. Let's see, Rick said, on what time frame would you look at to know if there's a daily pullback? Do you mean like the reversal, Rick? So like if you're thinking about the mid-market reversal, I think that's what you're referring to, mid-market reversal, because I don't think there's a yeah, so I mean, if you're looking for the mid-market reversal, I would go on the 1 minute. So I would mark up exactly how I have this marked up right here. I would use a clean chart though. So I would pretty much just mark this up here exactly how I have it. I would have it zoomed out, and then I would have it marked up from like 6 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and then 10 to 12. Because you can see right here, it's a pattern that's setting up, right? So right here, for example, price is pushing to the upside. We're probably going to get some sort of consolidation or range, drop lower or higher. I mean, it doesn't matter. It could drop higher or lower. And then at this point, another consolidation or range. And then you can kind of anticipate price to start to reverse around like 10 to 12. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen a lot. So, just keep that in mind. I wouldn't like base your sell off like whatever happens over here. I would base it to see if like price starts to turn around this point. Rick said like below that swing at 745. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I mean, technically, well, the thing is, I'm looking for a reversal here. So for the pullback, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a pullback, right? Because the thing is, if it pulls back right here, it can just consolidate sideways or range, right? And then it can probably just continue dropping from there. So I wouldn't consider this a pullback. Okay, yeah. So yeah, back to that point. Yeah, this would probably be the low point that you're looking for. What I would do is that I would draw these the high lows, right? Like I did yesterday. So if you guys remember the markup I did earlier, just check out where these previous high lows are. I mean, there's no lows here, but what might happen is lows might get established around this area. And then I would just draw the lows as price continues to go on. So like, it's going to be a bit more messier than it was yesterday, but it's pretty much the same thing that happened yesterday over here. 1 second. Maddie said variation. It's a variation for buy. That was kind of risky. Are you going to take it, Maddie? Check the fundamentals real quick. Yeah, I don't know if I would take that. Fundamentals are still red. But yeah, this would be a variation right here for a buy. I'll mark it up, but I'm not going to take it. It just seems a bit too risky for me. So there's a variation right there. But yeah, going back to what I was saying over here, Rick. So looking at the market yesterday, the same thing that I drew earlier. So basically, when price starts to swing around this area. So like basically around this point right here, this is from market open at 6. So we were pretty much just marking up like these highs. So like, for example, we're doing the opposite. We're marking up the lows because we're expecting price to come right back down. So we're marking up these highs here. And just like you said, like at 745, you have like it actually lines up with this one right here too, the same higher here at 745. This is where that pullback or reversal that you're looking for around this area here. So basically around this point, if you were to see price finally close above this point, like I'm pretty sure that's what you're looking for. When you see it finally close above it, right? Price doesn't close above it there, but when it closes above it, like it did right here, then you're like, all right, price is probably going to reverse from this point. And then from there, price just continues to push up higher and higher. So yeah, Rick, I guess that would be a good point for you to look out for. I mean, but currently right now, the price isn't really reflecting. It doesn't have the same highs as it did right here. But that would be a good area for you to be looking out for. So just going back to current price. Yeah, so there's a low right there. And that's pretty much where you would be looking for, right? Pretty much just looking for price to break and close below this point. Or you could even use this point right here. But I think this would probably be one of the better points because you want to be as close as possible to where current price is. Because if you skip this entire area right here, you're going to be off by like 300 pips. Not a huge amount, but you're going to be off by a lot. Maddie said I took it but pulled super early. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take it. It's too risky for a variation because it's against the if we got it from the top side, yeah, I would probably take it, but not necessarily for a buy. Looks like it's gonna hit though. Yeah, full TP. There you go, Maddie. Yeah, it would have been a full TP, but yeah, it's just too risky. Rick's in it. So Rick, I don't know if you pulled out. You should pull out by now. Yeah, there you go, Rick. Full TP again. Rick was all quiet for a second. He was like not saying anything because he was so focused on this buy here. He took it and he actually hit TP. So nice work, Rick, for catching the full TP there. Just make sure you pull out. Don't get greedy because the variations aren't meant to be held for too long. Oh yeah, Rick said my spread sucks though. Only 120 on a 5 lot. That's not bad. I mean, profit's profit. You made a quick profit off that. So as you guys can see here, the strategy is still hitting. It's just risky anyways. Yeah, Maddie said it's meant to go for 5 to 10 points anyways. Yeah, usually we started off with like 5 points, but it does hit 10 points, every so often. But no, if Rick spreads that wide, he got pretty much gypped like 200, 300 bucks. Rick said my blood pressure was higher than my profit. Oh, that's funny. He's probably like at 180 right now, huh? Rick's like hyped up right now off these variations. All right, guys. So I think that's it for today. It's 8:09 right now. I don't see anything available. Unfortunately, there was no entries that we could have taken here on the live session. It's kind of it's a replay of last week, right? So if you guys remembered last week, we only took trades. Let me just show you real quick. All right, let me just show you Maddie's profits real quick. So Maddie sent me his profits. He locked in a total of 342 right here. And then his other account, 342 over here as well. And then his other account right here, 100 off his MFF. Man, MFF keeps jipping you, huh, Maddie? Because your US 30 or FTMO is up. He's 300 over here. And then his MFF is under, only 100 bucks. And then his other, he just took the buy right there, the variation. He locked in 660 off his FTMO, his other FTMO 660 again, and then his MFF 408. Right, so they don't want to see me win, right? I know it's trash, but yeah, guys. So like this is basically a repeat of like last week. So if you guys remember last week, I only took a couple trades. So I took a trade on Monday, and then I took a trade on Friday. I took 2 trades on Monday, 1 trade on Friday. So they all hit TP, but I was very disciplined about my trades. You know, I missed out on a lot of good entries, but I did make a lot of profit overall. So it looks like the same thing actually, because on Monday we took the daily, and that's the same trade we took last Monday. And then we took a 1 minute scalp. And then on Friday we took the it was either the 3 minute or the breakout. So same situation again this week. I think we have 1 trade on Monday actually. Yeah, we have the daily entry right here on Monday. And I think that was it. And we have 1 1 minute scalp. So you guys, if you guys look back at our trades from this week, we only have about a few trades here. We have or actually we had a couple, we had a little more, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's just trash market. Yeah, Rick said here comes a drop possibly. Yeah, we can see it. It's actually as coming down to that same area that we drew earlier, right? There's no low right here because this invalidated it. But yeah, if the drop comes right here, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. So definitely something that you guys might want to look out for. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get off the session. It's way past my live session time, and it's I don't want to follow into these moves here. Just like listening to Rick call this dropout makes me want to enter a sell, but I'm not gonna enter the sell here. I'm gonna hold off, and I'm just gonna wait until tomorrow to wrap up the week. So guys, if you guys do decide to trade during this the rest of this morning, you know, just keep in mind that you guys always should be using proper risk and to move your stop loss and profit whenever possible. You know, whenever you guys trade without me, your main goal should be to manage your risk properly. Because the thing is, you don't have me here giving you your you know, advice as to like what to do with the trade. So if you guys do continue to trade, always remember to use proper risk management, use proper lot sizes, and to always move your stop loss and profit when possible, even on these 1 minutes. I know during these 1 minutes, I usually let them run, but if you guys are trading on your own, you guys don't want to be over leveraging and risking or over trading without me there to really give you guys the guidance that you guys need in a lot of instances. So if you guys do decide to trade, be careful. Here's it starting to drop right here. I'm gonna have to avoid this because I'm already looking at my MT4 trying to enter the sell, but I know I shouldn't. So other than that, guys, have a great rest of your morning. If you guys have questions, feel free to email or message me on Telegram. I'm going to be going to Disneyland today again. It's raining outside, so I don't know what to think about it, but hopefully it stops raining. So if you guys do have questions, feel free to reach out. I probably won't get to you guys right away, but when I do have free time in between my day, I will be messaging you guys back. So have a great